Hi, welcome back to another episode of ColdstreamRodshop. I'm Derek Fraser. In this week's video, we're going to be working back on the 32 pickup truck. Now, over the past 9-10 months, we really haven't had much chance to go back and finish some things off. A number of things have happened. Some of the projects, just kept expanding as they do sometimes. But yesterday, what happened was the 40 Plymouth, we finally loaded it on the trailer, and the gentleman's taken it off and on to the next part of its life. So that's kind of out of the shop. And we kind of just were neglecting our own projects. And this is one of them. So what we left this project off with before was that the carpet was done, the kick panels were done, and then what we had left to do was we put a minivan seat in here, which is fine, but and it's comfortable actually. But what I found, being 6'2" in a small cab like this, it is too thick. So what we're going to be doing is we've got another one of these seats down in the upholstery room. We're tearing it apart and we're going to reupholster it. I'm not, the camera lady is. I'm going to help her rip things apart. But we're going to thin down the back of the seat. What we're also going to do is finish the panels up in the back here. We've got Dynamat on it now. And then even behind the seat, if you notice, we've put some felt and some acoustic material behind it, which really helps with the sound. And then also the camera lady, she went ahead and she put more acoustic type of material here on the bottom of the carpets already. Underlayment, sorry. And that really helps with the noise level, because if you watch some of the previous videos, I was struggling with the sound level inside here. We toned it down with the mufflers and everything was good. Now, one other thing I did before we started this video was that I was able to move the steering column actually down 1 inch. There's not a lot of room there, but in the process I had to build, I don't know if I had to build like a little spacer here, a 1 inch spacer to drop this mount down. And it even, this piece that goes around the steering column there, I put a shorter one on. I had one for the Roadster that I kind of sacrificed to put on here. So what I did, the steering column is actually dropped down 1 inch and it's moved up this direction 1 inch, because what happens is when you're tall, the steering wheel actually feels too close to you. So what we're working on is trying to make it as though the steering wheel is a little further away from you than what it was before. So that's I guess the project for this week, or however long it takes. We're going to carry on with that. The seat is already in progress. Headliner. Oh, yeah, sorry. The headliner too. We've got the headliner down there in the box we ordered last year. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to do the panels behind here. We're going to do the seat. And we're going to do the headliner up there and actually finish. Hopefully that light is good. Yep, got thumbs up. Hopefully that'll completely finish off the interior. So that's it for this project. Don't know if we'll do it all in one video, but we're going to do as much as we can, and we'll show you as much as we can, okay? Here we are. We took the original minivan seat out of the 32 pickup. We had a spare one in the basement, and the camera lady has reupholstered it. One of the things we wanted to do was actually, like I probably said earlier, thin down the back by about 1.5 inches, and then just level the bottom seat off to look a little bit more hot roddy, I guess. I mean, I like some of the swoopy stuff, but I actually like kind of just the plain flat seat. Kind of goes back to the way the old hot rods used to look and stuff. So we have that, we put it in, and it's inside the car. Sorry we didn't take the time to show you all the step-by-step of doing it, but essentially there is another video where we were doing this for the 32 Roadster, where we tore it all apart, and we basically did the same thing with this, the exception being, like I said, thinning down the back of the seat to gain basically cab room for your arms and stuff. So camera lady will show you there the finished product. Everything bolted back into the brackets that I previously had in there. What we've done, she's got a cloth material going down the center here, and then vinyl down the center, and then over on the sides. And it's just bolted in place the same way we had it before. But as you can see, it's quite a bit thinner than before, so I might have picked up, between moving the steering wheel and thinning the back, I think I picked up probably another 3 inches of cab space. Now the other thing I've been working on is I've been putting the kill mat up here. We've got Dynamat on the bottom, but I bought I guess the copycat or whatever you want to call it, the kill mat. I put that on the top. There's not a lot of difference between the two, I don't think. And then I've started to put some wood strips here, some nailing strips, so that when we go to make the headliner, I've got one of the bows here made up for the front too. So I started making up the bows to put the headliner in. So we're going to carry on putting the nailing strips, and then we'll start working on putting the headliner in next. So carrying on with the 32 pickup here, we have the bows in place right now. I made up 3. What I did, most of these, well, they're all kind of screwed in place, but I also used just some seam sealer to kind of stick them to the metal bows up top. I've used that before. It just prevents it from moving or whatever. It also has a little bit of flexibility, and it kind of acts as a real nice super glue. The front one, like I was saying earlier, will go up across the top. So what'll happen, we're going to wrap the headliner around that piece. It'll screw in across the top of this front piece, and then we'll start draping it back, kind of like what we did on the Milkman's 32 3-window coupe. So right now the camera lady has the front bow. She's going to get ready to wrap it, and then she'll lay out where all these bows here are, and then put the, I'm not sure what they call it, a nailing strip, but like it's a little piece of material onto it that we'll use to staple up against the wooden bows. So here's the front bow, like I was saying. So this is going to go up this way, and it's going to screw to the front headpiece. And then here is the headliner material. It's relatively soft. It's we bought it from an upholstery shop here, Noble's Upholstery. He got 2 of them in for us. We've got one ultimately is going to go into the Model A, but this one is for the 32 pickup. But this is the material that the camera lady is going to start working on and put on the bow here. So to make sure that we had enough material, we cut enough off. We did a measurement, but then we also saw that somebody else did a headliner like this. We basically just draping the headliner over the top of the cab, allowing for a couple extra inches on either end. So the camera lady decided to cut it there. She said that when she folds these up, pinches it to put she sews another piece of material on that we use to staple to the wooden bows, you don't lose a whole lot of material here. So even with pinching it there to go across for the stapling, and in this, we probably should have an extra 3 or 4 inches on either end to do it. And then just in case it looks as though if we totally muck it up, it looks like there might be enough material left on the roll to do it a second time, but fingers crossed, I think we get it right here. So off to the sewing room. Here's some of the progress of putting the headliner into 32 pickup. We have the headliner wrapped around the first piece of plywood and screwed to the front valance or whatever above the dash, the windshield that is. The second one is nailed to the second wood strip, which I probably should have shown a video of. And then the second one is done, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So what I wanted to do is stop and hopefully show you. You can see up there where the tacking strip on the headliner is then stapled to the wood on the ceiling. So next step is I'm going to take the headliner and then staple it to the back wood piece here. I'll show you that shortly. There is the headliner all stapled in. It hangs pretty good. Everything's nice and tight, looks good. Next up though, what we're going to be doing is working on making like a panel to go across the top above the doors, and then the panels behind the seat, and the kick panels behind the door there on the side. So that's going to be similar to what we did before, basically, 1/4 inch plywood or MDF or whatever you want to use. Put the foam on, the vinyl on it. We'll show you what we're doing and then put them in place. That'll take a couple days to finish that off. But anyways, making progress again, like headliners in, and everything looking good. Here's the first step in making the first 2 back panels. My strategy on this is to make 2 panels like you see here on either side, and then make one for above the door, and then make one final panel for the back here. We're not going to do a panel below here. We've got felt and underlayment underneath this. The seat has got to go all the way back and almost touch this. Oops, almost touch that. So basically the back panel is going to come down to the top of the seat. Unfortunately, with these early cars, the 32s and 34 pickups, there's not a lot of real estate in them for modern sized people. That's what we've been working on here. Some people actually will extend these cabs, and in retrospect, maybe I should have done that. But anyways, what I made these panels out of was 1/8 arborite or masonite or MDF or whatever you want to call it. It's a common thing to make these panels from. You can also make it out of, I think it's 3/32 or 3/32 underlayment for a floor, like it's almost like a piece of plywood. I've used that before. This car is never really going to be outside and get wet, so I got no issue using this MDF or arborite type material. So what I've done, cut the panel, made it out of set it out of cardboard first, then went in the shop and cut out these panels, and then as you can see there's little black clips right, so I'll have to go I'll go over the other side here. Got the little forward clip panels that I like to use. I've used these quite a few times, and I've got the holes already pre-drilled. There's a 1/4 inch hole here, right there. Sorry, I'm using the camera backwards here. And then they're all lined up to go in here. So next step, I'm going to take these panels out, and we're going to take them down into the camera lady's upholstery room, and we're going to put a layer of foam onto it, thin foam, and then just wrap them in vinyl. We're not going to do like a tuck and roll like this into the bottom back corner there, because basically it's covered up by the seat. It's more just to kind of finish this off. You can't really see behind the seat there, but we want to put a nice upholstered panel there. So follow along and we'll get this done. Here's the second panel. I already put the first one in. Like I said, it's made out of 1/8 arborite or MDF or aspenite, or not aspenite, but it's like that hard board you typically can use and people make panels with. I've got the little forward clips here, the metal clips that I like to use, and the holes are pre-drilled. And you'll notice here I've got some foam on the back. Now the situation I have is that this panel tucks in behind a 1-inch square tubing that I've got there, and I needed something to keep it up against that tubing. So what I did is I have some of this packing foam. It just glued to the back of here. I've seen it used even on some new vehicles. Basically it keeps it in place. So I'm going to go put that on there, and I'll show you putting it on. The camera lady is going to try and film me there through the door. So we gotta line up the holes. It's not going to cooperate with me. There's one. Second one. Third one. There we go. We're on to it now. Always when you go to show somebody how to do something, that's usually when it doesn't cooperate. Lighting is not the best here, so. There we go. A little more work getting it in than what I thought, but there is the completed panel, and we're off to the next one. So what I'm going to work on next is the more complicated one, which is the one for the back piece here. So I think what I'm going to have to do is basically make a piece of plywood to go around here and then put my panel over the top of it, because the panel is going to come out here, so it's going to sit out a little ways. So watch along as I work my way through that one. Here's the back panel that I made up that will go around the rear window and fit inside the two vertical 1x1 steel tubing pieces that are in the back of the cab. Basically, it's made up of 3/4 inch plywood with a piece of 1/4 inch on top of that. And what I've done, here I'll flip it over for you, you can see the back side. I've put 4 plastic push pins through the 1/4 inch plywood. Now, one thing that happened to us before when we were making these on the Milkman's interior was that when we used these push pins and then upholstered over it, you'd actually see a little bit of a bump. Now, a couple things that you can do is you can glue your 1/4 inch foam or 1/2 inch foam or whatever you have on top of it, and then come along and then basically shave off the high spots. But what I did in this case, since I'm using a little thicker material, the 1/4 inch plywood, I came in with I think it was a 11/16 spade bit, and then I countersunk these holes so that when I put the push pins in, they're basically level with the surface. So what I'm going to do now is we've got some 1/4 inch foam. I'm going to glue that on this panel. Then I'm going to put the vinyl on top of it, and hopefully we'll have something to go in the back of the pickup truck here shortly. So there it is. We've got the vinyl and the foam on it. A little tough pulling the vinyl around these corners and stretching it over the 3/4 inch plywood. But I borrowed the camera lady's hair dryer there to help heat it up so it would stretch a little, and just worked our way around. We've got it glued and stapled. This glue we use is fantastic stuff. I can't get any more in the cans right now. So what I had to do, just in case I ran out, I went to an upholstery shop and I bought some of out of the can, out of the big can, which I could either put into a spray gun or brush it on if I had to, but I just barely had enough left in the spray can to do this. But I always like to staple stuff, just because I've had other stuff in the past come unglued with the heat. This particular brand doesn't do that, but it just better be safe than sorry. So everything's looking good right now. We're going to go put it in the pickup truck and we'll show you it in there. So there's the back panel installed. Sorry, lighting's not too great, but she pushed in place real nice. Fits around the original window trim. Just in the event that I've got to replace that, I didn't want to cover up the original molding there. Not that I break windows, but it's just nice not to have to rip the upholstery apart if you ever have to replace it or something. So Anyway, that's all nice and neat. Now the last thing we have to do is just make a couple panels for up above the doors, which in theory should be straightforward. So let's see how we make it with those. Here's the panels that I made for above the door. Showing to the back side, it's still pretty simple. 1/4-inch plywood. I used the little push pins here, the little barb push pins, and I drilled holes into the metal bows across the top of the truck. And it's just basically 1/4-inch foam and some vinyl stapled over the top of it. We've got one of them in already, right there above the door. Not a big fan of screws and then like through the upholstery. I might have mentioned that before. I know it's easier to get out, but it kind of like the cleaner look. So I'm going to pop this one in, put the seat back in, and we're probably going to wrap the video up. So here we have it. I finally have the interior completed on a 32 Ford pickup. In this episode, we talked about doing the modifications to the steering wheel. Between dropping it an inch down this way and then tilting it up another inch that way, along with I went and bought a new steering wheel adapter here that's dropped at about a little more than 3/4 of an inch to push the steering wheel down. That coupled with us reupholstering the back of the seat here, we brought the seat back the better part of 2 inches. So now, I mean, even for somebody shorter than me, you actually feel as though the steering wheel is much more reasonably placed. There's not a lot of room in these pickup trucks, as most of you know, and if you're really tall or really big, it's a little bit more of a challenge. But this made a significant difference in the drivability. I've had it a couple times now, and it's just way more comfortable to drive. So the other thing, we finished the upholstery behind the seat. We put the headliner in, did the padded panels for here, and then behind me on the side there. And then for the back, we only did a panel down to the top of the seat. For space reasons, literally. We, there's the padding in the back here that makes it look finished, but as far as putting like a panel with vinyl onto it, I chose not to do that, just because we wanted to get the seat back as far as it go. Funny thing is, in 1934, what Ford did, they were still using the same cab, but they actually put another bump out panel right where the seat is, so that the seat could actually go back another 1/2 inch. So even then they knew that they were creeping in on not too much space inside these cars. So anyway, I'm happy with the way it turned out. We didn't go into wicked detail and do any upholstery. We are going to be doing the 29 Model A. We've got the same kind of thing going on. We need to put the headliner in and basically do the upholstery panels from the belt line up. More than likely that's going to be a winter project. If you guys want me to show more detailed instructions on how we do it or less, let me know after watching this video. But that's it for this week. Please like, share, tag, and subscribe. Send me your comments, and I'll see you next week. Everybody take care.